Hi, welcome to Homemade Italian Cooking. I'm Cara. I am so excited. My D'Artagnan pork belly arrived. In this video, what I'm going to show you is how to debone and trim a pork belly, a whole pork belly, and turn it into cuts that we're going to use for 4 different recipes. So the best way to start is with the best pork possible. So I ordered my favorite D'Artagnan Heritage Berkshire pork. Berkshire pork is extra special because it is a slow-growing breed of pig, basically a heritage breed, and it therefore ends up more well marbled. And when it's marbled and when you cook it, all of that fat from the marbling seeps into the meat and it really makes it juicy. So I'm starting with the best cut of pork belly that I can. So stick with me. This looks complicated. I've made bacon before, but I will admit this is my first time taking the bone out of this pork belly. So should be a lot of fun. So you can see this is our whole pork belly. It's 15 pounds. It comes fresh when you order it online from D'Artagnan. And it's got the rind on. Okay, so we got this baby flipped over. I've got it on some parchment paper. It's a little easier to maneuver. I have lots of paper towels and such, because this is going to be messy. And with your hands, you don't, once you touch this, you don't want to touch anything else. All right, so the goal here is to, first we're going to remove this sternum bone. We're then going to remove the skirt steak, and then we're going to take out the spare ribs here. So I've got a very sharp boning knife here, and we are going to cut the sternum bone out, and we're cutting right through the cartilage. And it cuts pretty easy. Okay, that I'm going to throw away, and I've got a scrap bowl over here. Great. Now we're going to cut the skirt steak, and it's similar to a skirt steak that you would see with beef. Okay, and I'm going to trim off the ends and the scraps. This is actually a perfectly good piece of pork. I'm going to set it aside for something else. And now, as you can see, we've got the skin has been removed. That's the way D'Artagnan sent it. So now the goal is to get out these spare ribs. So I am going to start at the big end here, and the trick is to cut along the bone, angle your knife towards the bone, and we're going to start removing these. Try to leave as much of the meat as you can on the rest. And we're continuing to get these out. Gonna just keep sawing at it using my sharp boning knife. Oh, we got a few more to go here. I can feel the bones with my fingers. And that's the last one. Now, this might not be pretty the way I've done it, certainly not professional, but I'm very happy and proud to say I have removed this slab. It is now considered spare ribs. And I'm going to flip this over, and it's necessary to do. We still have the teats on the rind here, so I'm going to slice this down to remove them. And really, we don't want to cut away the meat. What we're just going to do is cut away the rind. So I'm going to cut into that, and we're just going to pull the skin. It's sort of like skinning a fish. I'm just pulling this strip up. Okay, and I'm toss that. So the next thing we're going to do now is cut it into our portions for the different cuts that we want. So we've got our one cut here, which is the spare ribs, and I've got one little skirt steak. Now I'm going to take my big carving knife, and I am just going to cut this. Needs a little bit of strength, but it's fairly easy to do. Get this. Okay. And as you can see, we now have what is going to end up to be our bacon. With all that meat and fat, you can see the different sides. It's going to turn out beautiful. Here you can see this is gives you a good idea of what the bacon is going to look like. Okay, so we'll set that one aside. Now, what we want for bacon, I should say, and we'll do that now, is we do not want this skin on for the bacon because there's enough fat. So I'm going to pull off the skin, the rind, and I'm using my boning knife. I'm cutting along the edge because I don't want to lose that meat. All right, that's done. Really wasn't as bad as it looked. I'm sure more practice I'd get better at it, but what I'm going to do next is weigh this pork belly, the one with the skin on, so I know how much it is, and I've got a digital scale here. It's 2.8 pounds. That's going to make a nice dinner party in the future. So what we're going to do is now vacuum seal this, and I've got my vacuum seal bag ready. I'm going to put this in, sealed up the one end, and now we're going to operate the machine, get this going. Okay, this is really a great little gadget to have in the kitchen. It does work very well. It takes all the air out of it. This is going to last in the freezer for a long time. Right. So now we've got this pork belly, and I'm going to mark it. 2.8, and I'm going to date it. Okay, so I'm going to vacuum seal up the rest of the pork belly without the rind and the spare ribs. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you are not afraid to try to do a little butchering at home yourself. Send me any comments. Please forgive me for all the mess, but it was kind of fun. So with that, please subscribe to me below and stay tuned for the videos on making bacon and the spare ribs and the porchetta roast and the Chinese pork belly. Okay? Thank you. See you soon.